So, just briefly, of course, doing a synthesis of a so large and interesting debate is not easy. I think we have reached, we had a very rich seminar. We dealt with many issues around urban growth and longer policies, and we treated them from different perspectives and these different ways and different aspects were taken into account. Well, what did we learn from all these? I think if we did not know it before, the city is a complicated element system to be treated, and I would say that it's a wild animal to be grown up and to be educated. It's very difficult to put. We had a lot of confirmation on this. Doing urban policies is something that is extremely difficult. So, in fact, urban planning is a very complex process. Even if we start from clear theories, or at least we have clear goals, clear theories, clear methods, and clear ways of where we want to go with urban planning, the implementation, so from theory to practice, is very different. And this is because we have the urban planning every time has to be thought within specificities, local specificities that have to be taken into account, and they change not only in the different cities, but they change over time. And this creates a lot of problem in terms of urban development. We have for very good examples in what we have seen also with our eyes in last 2 days, 3 days ago, with the new towns in Morocco. It's the reasons for planning these new towns are totally shareable. We have to go away from these unhealthy places where a lot of people live, and we have to control for urban sprawl. So everything, well, the reasons are very, again, very clear and very well settled. Of course, going from that point to the fact that these ville nouvelles are successful, it's something very difficult. We have seen that it might take time, as the director of INAU told us. It may be a matter of time, but is of course something that can also be, let's say, the implementation shows that achieving the task again and the goals is not easy. Again, this comes back to the idea that the treatment of space in general is very difficult and very complex, because it means that we have to introduce social, economic, cultural specificities in our thinking. So what about the future? So what do we foresee as open questions? Of course, this field seems to be, has been studied a lot. Urban planning, urban economics, we have a lot that has been said, but this meeting showed and proved once again that still much has to be done in terms of, let's say, new and more refined methods to take space into account. And especially, this was mentioned also by Francesca before, we need absolutely extensions of and availability of more precise data, much better data. This is perhaps not the case in the US, where they have a very good data sets at urban level, but at the European level, and probably also in the African case, I don't know about that, some of our friends can tell us, the urban level is very much denied. So the Eurostat does not take into account the urban level. It's already something that if it takes into account the regional level, and we have a lot of holes and problems also at the regional level. So this has to be, let's say, overcome. This is a strong limit because I totally share Jeff Ewing's view that policy has to come after a very sound, scientifically driven analysis. And to do that, you need reliable data. And this is something that we lack. In terms of theories, as the paper by Roberta and myself shows, we have very good theories from our big names, even in urban economics, but they left us with some open questions that we have the obligation to take up and try to move on. And the example that we gave with our paper is just an example of what we feel that is still there to be to be added. The last point I wanted to do is that given the complexity of the problems that we find in urban areas, from my point of view, it's very difficult to, and we have to avoid to go with an inductive approach, because in that way you miss the possibility of doing comparison